Welcome to VirajeTech online training platform. We offer expert-led courses designed to upskill professionals and students. Learn at your own pace with interactive content, hands-on projects, and real-world applications. Start your journey to success with VirajeTech today. In today's video, we begin our journey into the world of Java programming, one of the most powerful and widely used languages in the world. Java is a high-level object-oriented programming language developed by Sun Microsystems in 1995. It's now maintained by Oracle and used in everything from mobile apps to enterprise systems. Why learn Java? Platform independent, write once, run anywhere, JVM. Object-oriented, clean, reusable code. Secure and robust, ideal for enterprise apps. What will you learn in this course? This course by VirajeTech will cover everything you need to become a Java pro, from basics to advanced concepts. Topics covered: Java syntax and variables, object-oriented programming (OP), exception handling, collections and frameworks, JDBC and file handling. For more in-depth knowledge on Java, make sure to follow, like, and subscribe to VirajeTech's online training platform.
So the new topic is exception handling. So in the Java, exception handling is the most important topic. Exception handling, wherever you can use exception handling, without exception handling, you cannot create any project. Okay, all the frameworks, all the projects, exception handling is very important. Even though interview perspective, examiner will ask you what are the exception you faced while you are developing your project and how you are handling. So exception handling is the most important topic for a Java developer. So what is the exception first? Exceptions means, what is the exceptions? Exceptions means if you are facing any hurdles, okay, whenever you are progressing some work and there you are facing some hurdles, that is your exception. Okay, so exception handling means whenever you are progressing any work, there you are facing some hurdles, you are facing some issue to progress, but you are handling those hurdles in such a way. Okay, what are the way you are using to handling those hurdles? That procedure is nothing but it is a exception handling. Okay, so you can say, you can understand like this. Suppose that you need to go Gwalior to Bangalore. So via the train you are going. So what is happening whenever Bhopal came train, there is some issues, okay, in the train. So now your journey is stopped. It is the exception. Train is not okay, and due to that you are not able to travel. You are not able to reach the destination on particular time period. So it is your exception. But in the Bhopal, you did the reservation by the flight. So by the flight, you are completing your journey Gwalior to Bangalore. So you are handling your hurdles, you are handling your exception by the flight. Okay, so flight is the way to handle your whatever the exception you are getting, and you are handling those situation, and you are continuing progressing whatever the task you decided. So in the running task, to complete the task. If any exception are you facing, any hurdles are you facing, the method to overcome for that particular hurdles, you are using the exception handling. So this is the journal example, journal scenario where what is the exception handling. Okay, and in terms of the technology, you are writing some program there, due to unfavorable situation. Okay, due to unfavorable situation, your program is not able to proceed. To proceed your process, you need to handle the unfavorable situation. The way you will use to handle the unfavorable situation, that way is called exception handling. Okay, suppose that example, there are the so many engineering students. Okay, they are doing the journey with the train, by the train, but what is happening, you might be lose your ticket due to some situation, due to some unfavorable situations, you lose your ticket. Okay, what is happening, TT came, he is asking, show your ticket, you need to continue your journey, then you need to show the ticket, but you lost already your tickets, then what you will do? So here unfavorable situation is what, you don't have ticket, but you need to continue your journey, you need to handle the exception. So how you will do that? You will give 100 rupees to TT in his pocket. Then what will happen? Your journey, you can proceed. Or you will tell, okay, give me the penalty charges, I will pay the penalty, give me some receipt, I will pay the money. So by the money, you are continuing your journey and you are handling your unfavorable situation. So to handling the unfavorable situation, you are using some of the way. The way is telling your exception handling. Clear or not? Clear? Guys, clear or not? Understood exception handling in the real time scenario? Okay, so let's come to the technical way. Okay, very important things, very important topic. Okay, throwable throwable is a parent class. Throwable is a parent class. This is the very important questions. Okay, always remember, for the exception, who is the parent class? Throwable. Throwable is a parent class. Exception. Exception is a child class. Exception is a specialized class. Okay, so for the throwable class, okay, for the throwable class, see, this is your throwable class. Okay, then throwable class has a two types. Throwable class has a two types. What is those two types? One is the ex one is the exception. Okay, one class is the exception. Okay, then another class is a error. Then another class is a error. Okay, so exception, error. Okay, so this is the throwable class. It is the throwable class is the parent class. Okay, throwable class has two child class. Throwable class is a parent class. Throwable class, two child classes, one is the exception, one is the error. Okay, exception you can handle. Exception you can handle. Okay, there is the way you can handle the exception. Okay, there is the way you can handle the exception. As I told you, if you don't have a ticket, you will get the penalty and you can continue your journey. So exception you can handle and you can proceed your journey, you can proceed your way. So same thing in the program, if you are getting any exception, you can proceed to handle the exception. But error, error you can't handle. Error means whenever error will occurs, your program will terminate it. Whenever errors will occur, your program is stopped, terminated. You cannot proceed. Like memory out of bound errors. Suppose that you have a less memory and your program wants more memory. Then, if memory errors came, you cannot proceed. Suppose, example, you are going by the train, okay? But what is happening? You are going by the train, but suddenly accident happen. You got injured. Accident happen. You got injured. So now injured your error. You cannot proceed after that. Okay, until you are not means recover. It's a error. Okay, suppose that, so error means this is the position you cannot proceed. Okay, suppose that what is happening in the exam, you are not getting good marks and you have a less marks and you failed, then you cannot proceed once you are not clearing the exam. So this is the called a error. Okay, whenever error occurs, your program is terminated. You cannot proceed. But in the exception scenario, you can handle the exception and you can continue your program. Okay, this is the exception and this is the error. Okay, so in the exception, if you will there are the some of the way. So in the exception, what are the ways? There are also two types of the exception. In the exception, there are also two types of the exception. One is the checked exception. Checked. One is the unchecked exception. Unchecked. So this is the two exception. Okay. So let's understood here. What is the checked exception? What is the unchecked exception? Whatever your books is telling the definition for the checked, most of the books are telling the wrong definition. They are telling a exception which is okay. Checked exception is the compile time. Whenever exception is coming on the compile time, that is the checked exception. Okay, that is the wrong definition. Checked exception means compile time exception. Okay, unchecked exception means runtime exception. Runtime exception, okay, you can tell, but checked exception, compile time exception, it is wrong. You cannot tell this because compile time, what is the exception? No, compile time errors, you can see compile time error and all, but there is a checked exception is what? Okay, checked exception means it's not a compile time exception, it's a exception which can identify on compile time. A exception which can identified by compile time by the compiler, a exception which is identified by the compiler on compile time, that kind of the exception, it is a checked exception. This is the correct definition. Okay, a exception which is find by the compiler on compile time, that exception, it is a checked exception. Unchecked exception are exception which is find by the runtime, that is the unchecked exception. Got it or not? Understood? Okay. So checked exception means a exception which is find by the compiler on compile time. That exception is called as a checked exception. Your books and Google, so many people are telling checked exception means compile time exception. Compile time exception, what is? Nothing. Okay, it is the wrong. Checked exception means a exception which is find by the compiler on compile time. That exception is called checked exception. Means compiler is finding whenever he is compiling those exception is called as a checked exception. Exception which is find by the compiler on compile time, that exception is called as a checked exception. Okay, unchecked exception, exception which is find by the runtime, the exception which is occurring on the runtime, that exception is the unchecked exception. Okay, so now in the checked exception, there are also some of the different kind of the exception. So let's come to the next slide. Now I am exploring the checked exception. So this is your checked exception. So in the checked exception, there are the different types of the exception. SQL exception, IO exception. Okay, so there are the some other exceptions also. So as if now I am telling SQL exception. If you remember, you done the JDBC program. There, on the method, on the compile time itself, you are defining right hand side of the method throws and SQL exception, IO exception. If you remember or you forgot, guys.
Yes, sir, remember. Remember, sir, remember.
On that, whatever we are doing on that time, that was we are handling the exception, checked exception. Okay, so checked exception, if somebody is asking what are the example of the checked exception, SQL exception, IO exception. Okay, SQL exception, SQL related exception, IO exception means input output related exception. Okay, now unchecked exception, we are talking about the, if somebody is asking what is the example of the unchecked exception. Okay, these all are the interview questions. Okay, unchecked exception means arithmetic exception, null pointer exception, array index out of bound exception. Okay, so null pointer exception, null pointer exception, arithmetic exception, arithmetic exception, array index out of bound exception. So there are the several types of the exception. So I am just giving some of the important examples. So null pointer exception, whenever the null pointer occurs, arithmetic exception, something is arithmetic related operations is failing, and array index out of bound of exception, if you are not if you are putting the in the array more than the length some values, okay, then array index out of bound exception. You remember we done the wrapper classes and typecasting, then what is the exception we read there? Number format exception. Okay, number format exception. So till now whatever I explained all are the interview questions. Throwable class is a parent class for the exception. Throwable has a two child, exception and error. Exception you can handle, error you can't handle. Error means, okay, uh, memory means out of memory error. Okay, heap per gem space, these kind of the errors will occur. Okay, exception, checked exception, unchecked exception. Checked exception you can tell as a SQL exception, IO exception. Example, unchecked exception, exception which is occur on the runtime, that is the unchecked exception like arithmetic exception, null pointer exception, array index out of bound exception, and uh, your number format exception. Okay, so till now whatever we discuss all are the objective questions. So so now let's come to the programming part. You have a class A. Okay, you have a main method. In the main method, what you are going to do, here you are putting one sysout. Fine. Then int I equal to 10 upon 0. Okay, and system.out.println 2. Okay, what is the output? Guys, give me the answers. What is the output will come?
Sir, array out of no. 1, 2. Sir, one will one will come after that array out of bound exception.
Okay. What about others?
Arithmetic exception, sir.
Arithmetic exception? One and exception?
Yes, sir. Arithmetic exception.
Okay.
Upskill.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Why arithmetic exception?
Because sir, we cannot divide it by 0.
We cannot divide it by the 0. Good. Okay. So see what is happening once your program will execute this. Okay. So what will happen once your program you execute, then what will happen? Your one will print. After that, you will get the arithmetic exception excellent Anil. Okay. So what is happening here? This line will print. After that, compiler will come this line, then I equal to 10 upon 0. And we know the mathematics. Okay, 10 upon 0 means infinite. It is undefined. So what is the problem? It is a arithmetic error. Okay, you are not writing a function proper. It's a arithmetic error because in the denominator you cannot put the 0. Okay, that is the infinite. Okay, so it is the arithmetic error. So that's why what will happen in this line, there is a unfavorable situations. In this line there is a unfavorable situations occur and your program will not execute, all the statements will not proceed, and it will, because this line is a hurdle, because this line is a hurdle, here you will get a exception. Okay, and your program you cannot proceed further, other statement won't execute. So what will happen on this line? This line you will get the arithmetic exception. Okay, so now what you need to do? You need to handle the exception. If you handled the exception, if you handled the exception, then your program will proceed further, then this line also will execute. So how you will handle the exception? Okay, Eclipse has a very good feature. Just select this line. So now we know the what is the exception will is occurring. Exception is occurring, arithmetic exception will occur. So now I know arithmetic exception will occur. So see here java.lang.arithmetic exception. Okay, so arithmetic exception will occur. I need to handle the this exception. We can handle the exception by using the try catch. Okay, select this line, surround with try catch block. Okay, so what you did here, you are handling the exception. Okay, okay, so now what you did, select this line, right click, surround with try catch block. Okay, surround with try catch block. So try catch block we are using to handle the exception. Try catch block we are using to handle the exception. It is something like that. You are going with the train, but you don't have a ticket and you are giving the money or penalty to TT to continue your journey. So same thing is here. You are using the try catch. Try means your particular statement, okay, your particular statement, okay, whatever exception will throw, means whatever exception will throw, you are handling with the catch. You are handling with the catch. So TT wants 100 rupees. So in the catch statement, you are giving the 100 rupees. Okay. So by the try catch, you are handling the exception. So as if now, see, exception is a, see, I told you now what kind of the exception. So arithmetic exception is a runtime exception, null pointer exception, array index out of bound exception, number format exception. So exception is parent for this. So you are throwing the generalized exception here. So see, this is the exception class. This is the reference variable, reference variable for the exception. Okay, this is the E is a reference variable, which is the type of the exception. Okay, so E dot print stack trace. See, exception is a class which where it is available in the java dot lang package. Exception is available. You can see the definition here. The class exception and its subclasses are a form of throwable that indicate condition that a reasonable application might want to catch. The class exception and any subclasses, they are not also subclasses of runtime exception, are checked exception. Checked exception need to be declared in a method or constructor throws clause if they can be thrown by the execution of the method or constructor and propagate outside the method or constructor boundary. Okay, so these kind of the documentation also you can read. So E is a user defined reference variable. It is the type of the exception and it has a method print stack trace. It has a method print stack trace. Okay, if we will go the print stack trace, as I told you, throwable class is a parent for all the exception and errors, and in the throwable class, if you can read, as you have a decompiler in your Eclipse, so you can read the documentation whatever the JDK is provided. The throwable class is the superclass of all errors and exception in the Java language, and it is in the java.lang package. Only objects that are instance of these classes or one of its classes are thrown by the Java virtual machine or can be thrown by the Java code throw statement. Similarly, only this class or one of its subclasses can be argumented type in a clause. Okay, so you can read this whatever the documentation based on your more knowledge. Okay, now print stack trace. So this is the one of the method. It is the void return type, and print stack trace will print the system dot error. So whatever the system dot error, go press F3, then you can see the system dot error. So whatever the print stream will put the error, that you can see by this err variable. Okay, and so you can read this documentation. Prints this throwable and its backtrace to the standard error stream. This method prints a stack trace for this object on the error output stream, that is the value of the field. The first line of output contains the result of the method for this object. Remaining lines represent data previously recorded by the method. The format of this information depend on the implementation, but the following example will be regarded as typical. Okay, so this is the print stack error. So in the stack trace, whatever the error it is there, so it will represent. Okay, so Now what is happening? So by the try catch you are handling the exception. Okay, if you are handled the exception successfully, then your this statement also will be executed. This statement also executed. So if you look this, now your program is completely run. One java.lang.arithmetic exception, it is try catch you are handling. Okay, and yours two also will come. Your two also will come. Okay, your two also will come. So here what is happening? Your complete execution is over. Okay, by the try catch you handled things as if now you are using the exception. As if now you are using the exception. So by the try catch, okay, you are handling the exception and you are executing your entire program. Now next example. So you have a one array, okay, int primitive data type, then square box, int primitive data type, then square box, x equal to curly braces 10 20 40, then system dot out dot println 1, then I int primitive values, and you are putting x9. Okay, x index 9 and system dot out dot println. What is the output for this? So this is your a1. Just I am revising this. This is the one of the array. It has definition 3 index only will come. Okay, so but you are talking about the ninth index. Ninth index is not available. It will give the exception array index out of bound exception. Then here what will happen? Your this line will print, then test1 it will go to the test one, then test3 will come, then test2, then in the test2 it will print the 5, then your s1 equal to null. So what will happen here? Null pointer exception will occur. Okay, now we are talking about the next example. You have a class D, there is a test1 method, then system.out.println 1 will be print, then test2 method, test2 method once it will come, then system.out.3 will print, then I equal to integer dot parse int abc. We can do or not? I equal to integer dot parse int abc. So I value what will happen? Okay, abc is integer. No, so what will happen here? Which exception will come? Number format exception will come. Okay, then nothing will happen. Okay, number 513 and number format exception will come. Okay, so now this is the class E, then this is a print method. Okay, so what you are going to do, you are printing this, then I equal to 10 upon 0, then this. So what will happen? It will give the compile time error? No, it won't give the compile time error. And here no main method also is available. Here no main method also is available. Okay, so this is the system.out.println. It has the input as 1, but unfortunately there is no lifetime. Okay, so I equal to 10 upon 0. So generally people are thinking here it will give the arithmetic exception. Okay, that whatever the call, but as if now Okay, so without main method, this is the program. Yes, so this is the class F. So here what you are going to do, 100, okay, print, then e dot print, e dot print. So what will happen, this print method will call, okay, then 200 will print, go this e dot print. So what is happening here, so this method will throw the exception once it will print 1, then after that arithmetic exception will occur on this line. So what will this f, 100, then it will print e dot print, it will not go to the 200 here itself, it will give the compiler error 100 1 and null pointer and arithmetic exception, sorry. Okay, so here you understood, if any unfavorable situation will occur, any unfavorable situation will occur, okay, while running the program, to handle those unfavorable situation, we are doing the exception handling. Okay, so this till now we covered this much. Next time we will cover further. For the today, this is no need to create a object, and directly you can call this e class. So in the e class you can directly access the method, because e class is a static, so directly you can so no, not static, so print method is a static, so static method you can access by the class name. So you can call the print method by using the class name and you can access.
Okay.
Guys, clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's it for the today. We'll see you tomorrow, further continue. Thank you.